The first television job I ever applied for, the news director asked me if I knew how to use one of these. And I must confess I didn't know what one of these was, but I learned. It is called a Filmo. It is a little movie camera that is hand wound. It holds 100 feet of film. It is built like a tank, and anybody can make pictures with it. This was the backbone of a television news operation back in the 1950s. 25 years ago, people gathered around those tiny screens in giant cabinets to marvel at pictures of Mayor Roy Hoffines and his city council doing whatever the cameras happened to find them doing at the time. A newscast with a few clips of Filmo took 15 minutes and was deadly serious.
And the news tonight includes the launching of a new Houston city government. In a music hall ceremony today, the new city council...
Pioneers like Ray Miller laid the path for those of us who followed, but technology helped to ease the way. News film learned to talk.
You take the mic and get down there as close as you can. Okay, I'm going to try to talk to the father first.
And in the 60s, the first color film lab was installed. And news film made mayhem look, if not nice, at least pretty. We figured that like everything being up to date in Kansas City, we had gone just about as far as we could go then. But the change was just beginning, and our vocabulary was increasing. ENG was something we had to learn about, electronic news gathering. And from the $400 Filmo, we progressed to the enigma that is electronics, where the camera costs more than what I paid for my first house in Westbury. Through it all, though, the news gathering business has been a people business. His name is Phil Archer. He's the overnight man for Big 2 News, on the streets all night long. Archer is a rolling communication center. He has a number of different radio systems, both monitors and transmitters, even has a telephone. Archer keeps in touch with the world while most of us are asleep. About 4:30 every morning, the news office at Channel 2 starts to come alive. The first newscast starts before 7 in the morning. The TV news departments are centered around an assignment desk. An assignment editor is someone who tries to have reporters and photographers at the right place at the right time. By 10 o'clock in the morning, as many as 12 camera crews are on the street. They're in radio contact with the assignment desk and can be dispatched anywhere they're needed.
For starters, we need to show the obvious contrast between Allen Parkway Village and downtown.
Shooting a story can take a few minutes or several hours. And getting it right can take some time.
Real estate officials say the rapid expansion of the downtown area will continue well past the year 2000. However, the mayor said,
"Let's try it on." But even after the story is complete, there's still a lot more work that has to be done before it gets on the air. You know that news van you see on the air every night driving down the freeway? The one with the funny yellow-looking things up on top of it? Those are television microwave antennas, and they enable us to speed the story from the scene back to the station. The news crew can go almost anywhere in the city, jack up the antenna, aim them at a special receiver on a tall downtown Houston building, and bingo, pictures appear live from the scene of a breaking story. This is a part of a big change in TV news. Film cameras were the thing in years past, but film pictures were not the best quality, and processing film took too long, nearly half an hour in some cases. So Big 2 News has gone entirely to all electronic cameras. You see their pictures instantly. They can be fed back to the studio live or recorded on portable tape recorders carried by the cameraman. Since there's no need to develop these pictures in the lab, they can be put on the air much more quickly. Another reason you're seeing news stories so quickly is because Channel 2 has opened a brand new miniature studio right here on the edge of downtown. People in this downtown newsroom don't have to worry about fighting traffic. They can just come here and start working on their scripts or editing their tapes just minutes from City Hall and other downtown news centers. This isn't the only special news bureau we have. Channel 2 is the only television station in Texas with a full-time news bureau at the state capitol in Austin. Now, with reporters and camera crews all over the state and all over the city doing their stories and sending them in here at the same time, you might think it gets a little confusing. And as a matter of fact, it does. This is the final hour before Big 2 News at 6 goes on the air. It is not the place to be if you have a weak heart. As many as 20 different news and sports stories have come into Big 2 News during the day. Some are delivered by the cameraman who shot the story, others by messenger. Still others are fed into our building by microwave. But in most cases, each of these videotape cassettes is unedited. There is 20 minutes of material on this tape. This electronic editing machine is used to cut that down to perhaps a minute and a half.
That's the one we want, that one right there.
But an edited piece of news tape cannot stand by itself. There must also be a script which is rechecked for accuracy, then turned over to the producer of the news program who decides where the story will be used. Meanwhile, down the hall, the weather equipment is being checked for final figures before airtime. New forecasts have to be delivered to an electronic typewriter which is stored in a computer, ready for broadcast. Now most of the scripts are ready. Each story has been given an assigned position in the newscast, and we're ready for the final product.
Thank you.
It is now 2 minutes before 6 o'clock, and all the work of the reporters throughout this day and last night, and all the work of the cameraman throughout that same period of time is suddenly transferred onto the shoulders of the man sitting behind me. He is John Burkhart. He is the director of the 6 o'clock news. It is up to John now to see that all that work gets on the air.
Delegate camera 4 to B, chroma key, please.
John Burkhart has in front of him 20 television screens. Using the panel, he and the producer of the newscast, Larry Weidman, can choose which picture goes on the air.
Stand by, come to George.
Out in the studio, George Caldwell and Cindy Martin are in touch with the control room through special earphones.
Hello, George, Cindy. Page 3 is probably not going to be ready. We'll go on to 4.
While the first part of the newscast is underway, Doug Johnson's getting ready for the weathercast. Here's where the little electronic sleight of hand is used. When he's actually on the air, Doug is not really in front of this board. He's in front of a blank blue screen. The weather board is way over here. Two pictures are mixed together electronically. Here's another of our little tricks, the teleprompter. Newscasters had Channel 2 write much of their own copy, but they cannot remember it verbatim.
A federal judge has set a deadline for the Houston School District to come up with a plan for a district with no segregation of any kind. Judge Finus Cowan...
Before this half hour is over, as many as 75 people will have taken part in the production here at Channel 2, and more than 300,000 people will have watched. That's a lot of folks, and we think that's a pretty heavy responsibility on our shoulders. That's why we thought you'd be interested in seeing just how we put it all together here at Big 2 News. I'm Ron Stone.